University vets against Glasgow University medics all those years ago. He's come on a fair bit since then. Getting ready to get underway here at Scotstoun. Live commentary on BBC Radio Scotland, on the red button of BBC Alba, and across South Africa on Super Sport as well. Glasgow just outside the 22, the early take from the Kings. The kick straight down the middle. Looking for it is Hastings. Brings it under control. Hastings into the challenge that time. Van Vuren. Back it comes quickly through Horn. A little shuffle pass back inside by Glasgow Nick Grigg. And a drop but behind. Hastings had to go on his own. Williams almost caught him. Glasgow making ground down that right side. They've gone for the long pass out. Jones tries to step inside. Gets it away. Glasgow moving forward onto Johnson. Still going, little offload in the try. So quick inside the opening minute. And Stuart Hogg, bit of magic from Glasgow. They're under the post, and it's the worst possible start for the Southern Kings.
Indeed, the worst possible, the best possible for Glasgow Warriors though. The loose ball, recognition from Sam Johnson, that step off the right foot and the acceleration away, and then as is the Warriors' way, they don't want to die with the ball, they want to keep that ball alive. The offload to Stuart Hogg coming on at pace, no one's going to stop him from that close.
Looked forward to me. That last pass, Sam Johnson to Hogg. Obviously we want to be neutral as possible, but yeah, I mean, de Klerk came out the line, knocked on deliberately, so you could have argued potential yellow card, but that really upset the Southern Kings defence, and then great footwork for Johnson. Just this pass here, whoa, miles forward. You think?
Certainly from that angle, it's an interesting one. We've got the benefit, for those listening on Radio Scotland, we've got the benefit of a monitor this evening as the kick comes up, holding up in the wind, struggling to get there, and is off target. It's a very, very strong wind into which Glasgow are playing, but Colin Gregor alongside me, former Scotland Sevens captain. Perfect start.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Adam Hastings, couple of darts himself, just looking sharp. It was a loose ball actually. He then made a couple of yards off, but Glasgow just have to look after ball, get through phases, obviously get out of their own 22 when they've got the opportunities, playing into a strong wind. That's why maybe they're looking to have a go.
George Horn took it inside his own 22. Glasgow trying to push on, but the Kings in their change colours. Siavudi, Van Rooyen taken out to touch, also alongside me, Peter Wright, former British and Irish Lion. And really, when you come away, you've travelled all that distance, you've been set up, you've gone through what looked like a very lively warm-up. As a coach, to lose a try in the first 60 seconds?
Yeah, frustrating, and I think it was probably the nature. You know what it looked like? It looked like a try you would concede after 70 minutes. A little bit disjointed. There was no real defensive line. De Klerk came up really quick and took his cell out of that line, which then gave Johnson space on the outside. It just looked disorganised, and to have a disorganised try in the first 60 seconds is a big worry.
And then we see Glasgow off the restart, looking to attack. I think Dave Rennie's a big fan of, if it's on to go, you go. It doesn't matter where on the pitch. But that's where Glasgow this season, their error count has been higher than I think Dave Rennie would like. They've given Kings a good attacking opportunity.
They're picked up at the base. There's an opportunity for their first score, bouncing away. That was Bok. And then across the line they go. It's been brilliant rugby, if you like, try scoring. 4 minutes gone. What a great response it's been from the Southern Kings. And that was set up by Bok.
Yeah, interesting. They sent a runner down the channel. I think it was 13.
Might just slow the kick down, please.
I think there could be an obstruction here. I think 13 Klassen ran down the channel, took out a defender, and then the Southern Kings guy then went in the same hole.
Timo, check.
Klassen.
We're just going to put this up on the screen for you.
Yeah, Insano with a try. He's a lively player. The number 6 picked up well and went, and Insano, but the potential obstruction.
Okay.
So before Banda can hit the conversion, Mike Adamson will be taken over towards the screen and have a look.
I think Klassen, Paul, runs down the channel and takes out 10. He's got the replay here. You see Klassen coming. Yeah, that's To me, that's got to be an obstruction. He stopped that tackler.
Yeah, because the ball is received directly behind the decoy runner. In that case, there is an obstruction.
It's action number 12.
It's not an uncommon move where you send a runner short to try and tie in the defender and you give the ball to the release player out the back. But on that occasion, the timing just not quite right. And he then has, as he receives the ball directly behind, I think you have to go with there is an obstruction there.
It's actually 12, not 13, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, as a forward, I would be screaming out for that as an obstruction. Yeah, he's right behind the guy going in, so
it's marginal because it's a well-executed play, and Glasgow defensively get it wrong,
preventing him from making the tackle on that attacking player.
It will be coming back, I suspect.
Seen the same thing? Yeah. Okay.
It's coming back. No try. And the Southern Kings, who'd retreated back into their own half, find themselves having to come all the way back up. It was a great response, and in terms of the match, again, we talked about, Peter, what the South African coach would be thinking having conceded the try. He'd be absolutely delighted that his side reacted so well. Yeah,
and the problem with that is some referees and TMOs would have let that go. It was great pace, great tempo. Neil Patterson, who's obviously the TMO, that's what their job is to look for things like that. It was a good try, it was a cracking try, but deemed illegal. And then you just have to get on with it.
He's a big lad, Alshon Bok. Never afraid to run into tackle the South Africans. That's the reputation, and that's what we're seeing already.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, they bursted Glasgow defence there. Adam Hastings was taken by that decoy runner. It was just marginal because Sam Johnson, it was a poor defensive read. That line-out's never straight.
Glasgow's line-out has been a problem all season. They've lost 1 in 5 of their line-outs there, that not straight. And again, it's a good boost for the South African side. You see Andy Insano there, number 6, with the headband taped on. And it's going to be a scrum down. Put in comes from Rudy Van Rooyen, just inside the Southern Kings half. This is Radio Scotland, BBC Albion Super Sports. You can see there, if you're watching on television, we can feel it in the stadium. The wind is whipping right across. It's a really strong wind. It's the back of the Southern Kings. So the try for Glasgow from Hogg County, the try from Insano didn't count for the Southern Kings. They get the put in just inside their own half on that far side. In it comes, easy again at the base for Lerm. Out it comes, centre's trying to link up there. Klassen didn't get the pass, has to go in and work the ruck. Insano might have been tackled a little bit high, but he drives on. I thought Bobby DeWee came off his feet there very easily. Out it comes, the fullback Banda, the long pass out the halfway line, little clip down the line. It was kicked, but it came off a Glasgow heel. It's been picked up, but Glasgow are offside, and the penalty is given a few yards inside the Glasgow half on the far side by referee Mike Adamson.
See them all in front of the...
Yeah, it's one of those. The Southern Kings winger, I think it was, put a kick through, and it ricocheted off the Glasgow Warriors player, and I think maybe Sam Johnson picked it up in front. So the letter of the law says it's a penalty. Sometimes you would argue it's an instinctive thing, so it maybe should be accidental, but they're not. Sometimes referees are not very forgiving, or they're not allowed to be forgiven. That's the problem. It's not that the referees don't want to give that penalty, but they have to, because the judiciary, the big beaks, say that you have to.
The laws of the game have to be observed and implemented.
Sometimes.
Depends who you're playing. The line-out was won by the Kings, but it was guddled away. And Glasgow have gathered and now moving the ball out across onto the left-hand side. Greg can get it on. He decided to go on the inside, try to get the offload. Great running by Johnson, but the pass looked a little bit forward. He just leant forward to grab it, almost off balance, 2-3 steps, regained his balance, but unfortunately for him, the ball went forward. Scrum down inside the Kings half, just on the right-hand side.
Turnover ball from Glasgow, front foot as well, because the Kings were so far. They guddled the ball, what, 10-15 metres behind their own line out. On that occasion, just Nick Gregg just trying to force it again. You can see the intent there to just give that offload on the inside back to Sam Johnson, but just don't think he was fully in control. He was trying to force it rather than just accept, okay, I'll go to ground, let's go through the phases and look to pick. They made, what, 20 metres anyway. Yeah,
I think what Glasgow need to do is just try and settle. You know, that it was turnover ball, but even, you know, you've got Matawalu, you've got Stuart Hogg on the outside. You know, Greg, something maybe just put the ball right through the hands of the winger, really stretch the defence, and then you look to keep it alive and then play back inside, and that's when you start getting your mismatches. And I think that's what Glasgow, they need to be cute about what they're doing. I don't think they want to, you know, if they can score for the first phase, then yeah, go for it. But I think sometimes maybe look at 2 and 3 phases, try and get the Southern Kings a bit disjointed like they did in that first try.
So the front row is Alex Allen, Pat MacArthur, Xander Fagerson. For the Glasgow Warriors, Sharp Ferreira, Michael Williams, and Rosa de Klerk, former Glasgow Warrior, won the pro title with Glasgow just a couple of seasons ago. The scrum is steady, starting to move a little bit by the Kings. Now the front rows start to pop up, so the referee, I think, will reset as both seem to come up at the same time. He will reset. That's exactly what the referee thought.
You know what, the ball's at the number 8's feet. Why doesn't the referee say, just use it? Use it. The scrums did pop up, but the ball was there for an age. So tell them to use it and let's get on with it. Let's not scrummaging it. Just infuriates you.
Well, the 25-year-old could have picked it up and go, that's Peter Wright. If you're joining us in South Africa, you'll get used to this in the next 70 minutes or so. Colin Gregor also alongside me. Colin, Peter's right though, it was there at the feet. Why didn't they just move it?
You'll have to ask the referee, isn't it? It's just
well, it's a former scrum half. Would you not want the ball quickly? It was there.
Yeah, you just want flow to the game as well. And now the next scrum's gone down, so it's just that kind of momentum. And yeah, on a cold night like it is this evening, you don't want players getting cold and kind of, yeah, you just want to keep intensity to the game. And this is just taking the life out of it. And again, you can hear the crowd just kind of dying down as well.
You know, referees are trying to make their job easy. You know, they've got to find ways to make it easy. Now, when the ball struck as well as it was, it's at the number 8's feet. Why not just give it the call, use it? I think what Southern Kings are trying to do is they're trying to show a bit of ascendancy, nurse the penalty, and see if they can get a little bit of territorial advantage by kicking. But, you know, it's there to play. Referee just needs to tell them to play.
Ball in again, similar situation. It's been hooked and won. Glasgow start to peel off the scrum. Out it comes onto the Toit. The Toit passes it on. Glasgow are in there. There's a real wrestling match for the ball. Won by Van Rooyen. Van Rooyen gets it out. Back inside it comes. And Glasgow gone through, not rolling away as well. So a penalty's going to come 10-metre line inside their own half for the Southern Kings, and then not rolling away. You can hear the voice of Mike Adamson in the background, and they won't get this clear.
Just Glasgow don't need to have that lack of discipline. Make the Kings go through phases, see what their attack's all about. We're still early in the game, only 10 minutes gone. It's a case of actually let's see how much the Kings can attack. How good are they at ball retention? Can they make yards rather than just giving them easy field position? Now it gives them a set piece opportunity just outside Glasgow's 22. Again, they can set something up where they look to go for a drive. Certainly, as you said, Paul, at this at scrum time they're looking to try and assert dominance. So they're going to try that as well at the maul here.
Bobby DeWeese just stepped across the gap and just had a little word. It may well have been with Scott Cummings. Didn't look too friendly. Let's see how the throw comes in from Williams. Well taken at the front by Grief. Grief gathers into the maul it goes, called by the referee. Glasgow trying to swim through the middle. The ball is at the back, just outside the 22, left-hand side. Williams is there, splinter off. The Kings are really going for it. They've made 10, 12 metres. They're still going. Williams goes to ground, gets himself back up, hadn't been held. They're really going fast now. 8 metres out, that may have been forward. That comes across into Klassen. Klassen goes down, lays the ball back. Glasgow vote Gray there. Out it comes to Insilla. Insilla tries to bring the ball back. Glasgow are in very, very quickly. In the middle of the 22, the Kings battling for the ball. Van Vuren trying to tip one of the Glasgow players out of the way. They take and go. 8 metres from the line, whipped out through Bobby Dewey. We will bring the ball back. It's now with a scrum half, and Ryan was held. Glasgow fancy they've turned this one over. They've done so, and the penalty's going to come. The referee didn't like it, not releasing, and the penalty will come the way of the Southern Kings, who, if they want it, will have a very, very easy 3 points.
Interesting, that one, wasn't it? They defended, they were hanging on with their fingertips. Glasgow, Southern Kings, great maul, you know, really destroyed the Glasgow line out. And then they kept the tempo of the game. It looked like, I think it was Adam Hastings, was it? Looked like he'd got
Nick Grigg.
Was it Grigg? Looked
the
like
tackle
got
just stripped.
Yeah. But I think what happened was he stripped it, and then I think what happened is the Well, I think what the referees deemed is that the Southern Kings player was on his feet, which I think he is. When you see the replay, you can see him, he's still on his feet, so he's got hands to the ball, and Grigg's not released. So, actually, pretty, I hate saying this, but pretty good refereeing for the Mikey Adamson. Yeah, it's sticking in my throat saying it.
I'm going to say we might have to get that recorded and play it out later for other referees who've been less fortunate.
I've actually coached Mikey as a player, so he's one of the few referees that I actually quite like. But I liked him as a rugby player. I'm not saying I like him now that he's a referee, but I like him because he's pretty accurate and clear with what he says. Pretty decisive. I think that's half the battle.
A penalty, stroke through the post. 5-3. Glasgow Warriors lead, picked up by Willems. Brought in just a bit more stability to the Southern Kings side. Long kick down the right hand side, taken in by George Horn. Horn sends it inside, waiting for it now is Matawalu, side the 22. Matawalu going for a wander, the offload to nobody in particular. Grigg went past it, and it's been won by the Kings outside the Glasgow 22. Van Rooyen plays the long pass back to his half-back partner Martin du Toit. Du Toit sends it out wide onto the fullback. Banda is there, runs back across, it's with Bok. Bok then tries to go forward in the Glasgow midfield. One or two may have gone in from the side. Referee quite happy though. And now they're driving on again, the Kings. Van Rooyen, Du Toit gets it out. There's support for Insilla. If he can get the ball out, that's where it goes. Insilla, great little take. Glasgow trying to drag him into touch. They do so very well indeed. Tell you what, the Southern Kings have not been cowed by their opening try against them. 15 minutes nearly played now. They've responded really well.
They have, and Glasgow have helped them with their error count, giving away soft penalties, just playing into Southern Kings' hands.
Line out taken very quickly. Pat MacArthur with the strong throw. Glasgow get it through. It's come through the half-backs. It's just inside their 22. Horn drops it off. Driving forward was Matt Smith. The line up very quickly. Out it comes. Hastings sends it wide onto Hogg. Tries a little kick inside. Klassen though intercepts, and some lovely piece of almost basketball-like play. Get the ball back onto Banda. Banda sends the clip across. There may have been obstruction. The ball breaks back onto Sam Johnson. Johnson feeds the pass onto Grigg. There was almost daylight, but he's held up well by Ferreira. And now Glasgow look to go again. Little pass out, just outside their 22. Glasgow driving once more, leading by 5 points to 3. Hastings tries the kick inside. Pennock did really well to get a touch on that. Will be a Glasgow line out if the referee's given it correctly, because it certainly came off the Southern Kings man. It's not been given, and the ball's been taken quickly inside onto Klassen. Klassen held just inside his own half. Glasgow fans not happy, and as again the Kings try and splinter off down the side. Banda gathers just short of the halfway line, tries to turn. Van Rooyen is there, looks. Du Toit waits for it. He tries the kick across, but Matawalu watches it, takes a bounce outside the 22. Shovel pass into Stuart Hogg. Hogg against Klassen, does a beautiful spin move, then taken down by Willems, number 2. Glasgow set up just inside their own half. There's a real take out there. It's brilliant rugby from Stefan Greif, and Greif did well. He's turned the ball over, and now the Kings can attack again. Van Vuuren goes in, but then some of the discipline just at the breakdown not good enough. Let's get the thoughts of Peter Wright.
Well, the letter of the law, that guy should have a colour of a card coming out. You can't lift a player up and do that. I think, well, he's lifting his legs above the horizontal.
Yeah, Pennock.
So yep. As soon as he goes above the horizontal, it has to be more than what he's been given. It's more than a penalty. This is a that's a yellow card. It's not a red card. He's not speared him in, but he's lifted him up onto his head. But you know what? Love the game. Frantic, fast, furious, absolutely brilliant. The skill level awful at times, but that's what's making it exciting. Glasgow, too many errors. I think Southern Kings are kicking too much. I think if they keep the ball in hand, they could hurt Glasgow.
Glasgow win the line out on halfway. The penalty was kicked into touch. Johnson takes it into contact. Glasgow into Kings territory. Glasgow leading by 5 points to 3. Matawalu trying to go through the middle. He's not got the biggest frame, but he's done well enough to take it through, and the referee's not happy. Tackler perhaps not moving away. That's the signal that comes. So just outside the 10-metre line, Glasgow, you suspect, will go for the corner. The man penalised calling that time was Bobby DeVee.
Yeah, and Adam Hastings looking to come along this left touchline, getting Glasgow closer to the scoring zone. I think Southern Kings kicking because they feel they've got the wind behind them. They want to make Glasgow play from deep, and Glasgow reluctant to put boot on ball. As a result, I think they're looking to go wide too early. I think they need to get your Scott Cummings, Johnny Gray, even the Matts, Fagerson and Smith in the back row, get their hands on ball, running a bit tighter, run off George Horn, start getting some yards, make the Kings make some tackles, get through some phases, and then with this wind, then that's when you can then look to get to the wider channels. And if you need to kick, you can then grubber kick it through. Obviously, take the wind out on a nice firm pitch like this, the artificial surface, the ball's going to bounce, it's going to roll, and you can do that. That's a way of making territory with the kicking game. But you have to be accurate with it, because if you kick ball down Southern Kings' throat with the wind behind them, they'll just send it right back into your 22.
I've been impressed so far, Peter, by Michael, or Mike as he likes to know, Mike Williams, number 2, the hooker. He's played well so far.
Yeah, he's been a stick-out player. He's always their captain, so leads by example.
Glasgow have won the line out. On the 22, the maul coming forward. Glasgow tuck and go again. Players splintered off. Glasgow actually being forced back, so they'll be told to use the ball. They have done so. Horn gets the pass inside. Matawalu didn't take it with him. The knock on, the advantage goes the way of the Kings. They have it inside their own 22. Penix is a willing runner, but he's taken down by Glasgow just outside the 22. Van Rooyen back on to Dutoit. Dutoit gets the kick away. Not a pretty one, but it's long enough up towards the Glasgow 22. Just taken by Stuart Hogg. Nearly let that one go. He comes up to the halfway line, breaks through a Glasgow Warriors gap created by 2 players who stepped aside. The Kings weren't expecting it, but Glasgow have knocked the ball on as they've gone through. And again, it's another Glasgow error that brings play to a halt. And the Southern Kings, 1 or 2, you can see hands on hips trying to catch their breath. It remains Glasgow 5, the Southern Kings of South Africa 3.
Yeah, I think if the game's played at this pace for the next, 62 minutes, it's Southern Kings that will suffer. I think Glasgow are fit. I think they'll be fitter than the Southern Kings. But at the moment, both teams, or both head coaches, will be really disappointed just with the basic skills. You know, that was Matt Smith. You know, a simple contact and he's losing position. I don't know whether they're thinking about starting to offload. Stuart Hogg made the inroads. Great wee offload to Matt Smith, and then Matt Smith loses the ball in a pretty innocuous challenge. And what they don't want is they don't want this set-piece game. Glasgow want to keep away from the set-piece game if they can.
The very first phase prior to that, off a line-out, one pass, ball goes down, Kings kick back into Glasgow territory, Hogg makes a half break, offload, ball goes down. Again, Glasgow just aren't getting through any sort of phases. They're not keeping ball to question this Kings defence. The one time they did the first phases of the game, after, 3-4 phases, they scored a try. They've not got past 2 phases, I don't think, since then.
The scrum has to be reset. Tell you what, Bobby DeVee just slapping Rosa de Klerk there. Just say, come on, he's going to have a bruise there. There's plenty of effort going into that slap. They seem to have a good sense of teamwork, the Kings. They seem to, you know, you look at a team that have lost 6 out of 6, Peter, and you wonder, but they seem to be together.
That's whether they can keep it going, for the whole game.
Yeah, they win a free kick there from the scrummage offence, and in they go. Penix waits, and Rooyen gets it across to 8. Pass was short, but it was just held. They're just on the halfway line. Dutoit plays the ball back. Out it comes through the hands of Linlu. Linlu sent the pass out long onto that far side, and it was there. Back inside it comes. Glasgow defending just inside their own half at the moment, and Rooyen appears again. Dutoit nowhere to go, taken down by 2 Glasgow tacklers. Again, the forwards are there quickly, and again the referee is not happy at the breakdown. The Glasgow tacklers are not moving away quickly enough. It was Matt Smith again that was being pinged on that occasion, and it's a penalty that is certainly kickable just inside the half, but you've got the wind at the back. There's 3 points to be had here.
Yeah, and it's a scrum Glasgow deemed to push before the ball came in, when actually looked as though it collapsed. I think for me, Alex Allen actually collapsed it, but he gave a free kick for an early push, and then Matt Smith's just lying there. You know, at this level, he's just a young lad. He's not played a lot of pro rugby, but at this level, if you're going to lie there, you're going to get pinged. You've got to move. You've got to be so aware just to get yourself out of the road at these breakdowns, because the referees are looking. I think at times the referees are looking to penalise people, and it was a simple penalty there by Matt, or giving away a simple penalty.
Yeah, just the 5th professional game for Matt Smith, 21-year-old back row player. The right-footed kick is strong, it is long, and it's on target. And after 22 minutes at Scotstoun, the Southern Kings have the lead. And they will realise as well, this is the latest in any game they've actually held a lead so far this season.
Interesting, the Glasgow physio going on there, having a word with Rob Harley, obviously captain for this evening. I'm sure there's a message coming down from Dave Rennie.
Long from the restart, juggled that time, back onto the Glasgow side, so Glasgow have a scrum advantage, back onto Johnny Gray. Gray going through the middle, tackled well by the Kings. Glasgow looking for support, Cummings was there, not enough of an advantage had come for Glasgow, so the knock-on advantage they will come back for. It'll be a scrum down just slightly to the right of the post on the 22, and this is where Glasgow will hope to execute.
Well, I think what Glasgow need to do is they need to bring, I know Glasgow's game is tempo, but at the moment the tempo of the game's hurting Glasgow. They're making too many errors, they're forcing it. What Glasgow need to do is almost, dare I say it, become a South African team and play set piece, 2 or 3 hits, and then look to try and manipulate the defence to get their wingers, to get Stuart Hogg just man on man. But at the moment I think they're going wide too early. They're not committing any Kings defenders, so when they go wide they're up against 3 or 4 defenders. They're not getting mismatches, they're not getting space. Just going back to be a little bit more direct, a little bit negative. I suppose negative is maybe not the right word, but just play a bit of a tighter game plan.
Just doing the basics. I think they've just let themselves down just with their basic errors. Unfortunately for Kings, it was them that coughed up ball from the restart. It's given Glasgow an excellent attacking opportunity now. And so for the Warriors, first and foremost, have a solid set piece, get the ball out of the scrum, and then let's not think we have to score off first phase. They don't have to do that, do they? They can go through phases. Mentioned it earlier that they went through a couple of phases off the very first play and scored a try. We've not seen anything since, so I think for Warriors for this, it's just tighten up and then ask some questions of the Kings defence. And once you've got them on the stretch, once you've started to get some momentum going forward, that's when you look to pick them off. That's when you can put some width onto your attack and look for the actual scores.
They're not missing any of the action. There's an injury, so there's a little bit of attention being given now. The physios are moving off the field of play, so Glasgow and the Southern Kings getting ready to scrum down. Obviously these sides have never met. Southern Kings' first trip to Scotland, they'll play Edinburgh at home on the 1st of December, and then they'll be back in Edinburgh in Scotland on the 5th of January as well. The New Year celebrations will still be going on. Scrum down just on the 22, in by Horn, out it comes, the scrum half gathers, man outside him, Hastings looks, sees if he can get the offload, inside it comes, but Kings have done well to drag Glasgow into touch on that far side. They'll have the line out which they were thought about trying to get quickly. Stuart Hall going in there, a little bit of pushing and shoving. There's been a fair bit of contact after the referee's blown his whistle. Both teams just, they don't want to give anything, they just want to show they're there for the challenge.
Nah, it's the alpha male, innit, trying to be the dominant person on the pitch. That's collision sport, Paul. That's what happens, and you just see it as part of the game.
Shorter line by the Kings, who are walking forwards towards the thrower. Williams thrown in, good take, away very quickly across it comes, and the watches, it drops the shoulder. Glasgow up very quickly indeed. They're going to look, try and get this ball back to Detroit. Well, in fact, the scrum half did really well, did a little clip kick away, gets it out of play on that far side. Glasgow take it, put it in. Was it very kind first bounce into the hand of Hogg. Hogg tries to go. There was a suspicion of a high tackle, but the tackle was made. Grigg has it, Grigg into contact, down that time by Unlilur. Did really well to tackle him. Now the ball comes back onto Johnny Gray. Gray driving his way forward for Glasgow. The way he was in there. Glasgow, the ball appears at the back, and there's a little bit of afters going on as well. We're not very happy. Now it comes out, Glasgow have played it behind Hastings. Hastings then passes it straight onto Williams, and Williams just knocks the ball down, and the referee is going to give
that's a shocker
against Glasgow. Now I'd love to know what that's for.
That should just be play on. Williams knocked it down back towards his own team.
Glasgow knocked on after that.
Did they?
Yeah.
You think so? Let's have a look at the television screen here.
Rob Harley.
No, it came off his shin. Came off his shin.
Definitely knocked on.
It came off his shin, man. Come
Shin
on.
bone attached to his wrist bone, is it? But again, Glasgow, the ball slows down in the wide channel, and Matt Smith's at first receiver. It's just that recognition, rather than trying to go out the back to Adam Hastings, just truck it up. Once that ball's slowed down, you've not earned that right to try and get any more width to your attack. Just go through the guts of the Kings, get through another phase, rather than just trying to force things too early.
Yeah, I'm looking at 10 at the moment for Glasgow, and I know it's only 25 minutes into the game, but they've got no control at 10 for me, and it's not always down to him. You know, they kick the ball out there. Lee Jones takes a quick one, and I think that disrupts Glasgow. I think what Glasgow need to do is actually just get a couple of lineouts, just try and get their shape organised. At the moment, it's all over the place. It's hear 'em, scare 'em. And if we're brutally honest, that's actually suiting the Southern Kings, and it's not suiting Glasgow at the moment. Normally it would, but at the moment it's suiting Southern Kings more than Glasgow.
And this is how the game should evolve and unfold. And then in the last sort of 15-20 minutes, that's where you can increase the tempo and loosen things so that you're looking. Whereas just now it's about maintaining, sort of gaining dominance, and just go back to just making sure you do the basics very, very well. Go through the Kings. Just the error count is still just ruining Glasgow.
Scrum down, put in for the Southern Kings. Southern Kings leading by 6 points to 5 here at Scotstoun. The first trip here. The scrum wheels, and the referee is going to give the penalty against Glasgow. And here comes the fighting now. There's at least all the forwards are involved now. Some of the backs are coming in, and you can see Adsilla pulling his man away. So too is Van Vuren. There's separate ones there. Adam Hastings has come up from the back. They're still trying to get Stefan Grief away. And then there was a punch thrown by Willems. And now everybody's together. Even the wingers have come in. It's serious. And now Johnny Gray still going in. Bobby DeWeed. And then there's a little bit of peacemaking going on from the fullback, with the referee trying to shuffle everybody back. It was a 30-man brawl.
Hey, that's what it's all about. The good old days. It's 26 minutes and they've started to do their manly stuff, but there'd be verbals would be given. People react to the verbals, and it's just what happens. We grab each other, we shove around. Very few punches get thrown.
We've not had anything. How you going tonight? We've not had anything in the game now. That was pushing and shoving. The team was just having a quick look to check there's nothing more. Okay. That stops now, or else we're going to have to raise the sanctions after that.
Good check, is that fine?
Mike, it's Paddy, there's nothing there.
Nothing there. There was almost too much there for the TMO to go through. Probably had to spend about half an hour.
Would you trust that TMO?
Having a look then.
Would you trust him?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, he's the guy that hung out Lloyd Linton. When Lloyd Linton yellow carded the wrong player in the game last year, between, I think, was it Cardiff and Scarlets?
Yeah,
Neil Patterson was the TMO, who could have easily went in and said, that's the wrong man you're pitting off. Didn't they say a word?
It was the wrong team, wasn't it?
I think it was the wrong everything. I think it was the wrong game.
It was one Shingler plays for Cardiff and one plays for Scarlets.
And he sent the wrong one up. He was a TMO who could have quite easily said, no, Lloyd, you've actually got the wrong player there, mate. You need to send the other guy off. But he never said a word. Hey, who needs enemies when you've got friends like that?
Well, exactly. If there's anybody that Peter likes less than referees, I think it's TMOs. And the voice of Peter Wright, former British and Irish Lion. Colin Gregor alongside me as well, former Scotland Sevens international player, captain. And here we've got some match in the Pro 14. The home side trailing the visiting Southern Kings when Royan breaks off the line out, drives forward. Klassen provides the guard. DeWee goes in. Hefty challenge on him. Ball back on the Kings side. Kings in their change kit this evening in the grey and white. Glasgow driving back better from Matt Smith. The contact level as high as you would expect. The pass into Klassen was not a good one. A hospital pass is what it was known as. And somehow they managed to collapse onto the ball. Vindaloo did really well, and now he's trying to dig it back out. They're holding on too far. Not releasing. Glasgow with plenty players round, and now they've rushed to try and get after the ball. Penalty to Glasgow on the halfway line.
Good defence. I mean, Glasgow are forcing errors. Southern Kings are playing a bit like Glasgow. They're trying really hard, and that's creating a lot of errors. Is that a ruck created? Is he allowed to then put his hands on it's a difficult one, that, isn't it? It looked like the ruck was formed. Yeah,
the ruck was formed fairly quickly. Some players like the referee to shout it to confirm it, but the referee doesn't have to.
That's actually really noticeable about Adamson tonight. He's not saying a lot, is he? A lot of referees will shout, ruck, hands off, but I don't know whether he's been. I know they try and stop the referees from coaching. They expect the players to know what rucks and mauls are.
Glasgow have won the line out, comes on to Sam Johnson. Johnson bursts his way through, somehow gets through, trying to go through two defenders, spins away, tries to get the offload. It bagatelles about the place. Glasgow get the touchdown, it won't count. They'll bring it back, knock on from Glasgow. Sam Johnson went through a gap that really didn't exist. No idea how he got through. Somehow he went through two players, but then got taken down in the end. Well played by Bandit, and then a little ping forward, and Glasgow time off for the moment. But again, you see the danger from the centres of Glasgow.
And just the simple 9 straight to 12, just go straight at the Southern Kings defence, make them make tackles. On that occasion they didn't. And then at Matt Fagerson going into support, I think he's ready to clear out. Sam Johnson's on his back, ready to offload, and there's just that moment of indecision. And as Fagerson goes ready to clear, that's when Johnson pops it up straight off Fagerson's head. But then the head wouldn't have been a knock-on, but he then went to gather it after that, and that's where he knocked on.
And it's a fair offload, isn't it? He's on the ground, he's got his hands free, so the offload is definitely on. But as you say, I think Fagerson was going for the clear.
Because Fagerson had checked, so he'd basically stopped, he was ready, and that's when so if it just been a split second earlier, Fagerson was still going forward, he'd be under the posts. As it is, it's a Kings scrum under their own posts. Big pressure to get out of here though.
Good battle off the scrum, they'll have to do it again. Glasgow's some success rate is 95%, the Kings 92%. Again, you can just see there's flashpoints, there's anger there as the two packs come together.
What's happening on what I'm seeing from this side of the pitch is that Alex Allen's getting quite low, but he's getting his hips and his knees low, and it looks as though De Klerk's hinging a little bit, so De Klerk's shoulders are just below his hips and no more. And then it's collapsing in. That's the problem. So he's either got to get Alex Allen to step up, to lift up a little bit, or De Klerk's got to. So he's not letting him bind.
I was trying not to let him bind there. Van Rooyen with a put in. Glasgow try and get the drive away, but it's out from the Southern Kings. It's with the fullback, and he gets a pretty good kick away. And that's going to go up towards the halfway line. We'll see where the assistant marks it. Not very generously, it looks. Just outside the 22, it looked a longer kick. We're on the opposite side.
Banda's very happy either, is he?
I think he's been done there, I have to say. It looked a
decent kick. Yeah. I think Glasgow have just got to, just what they did that last line, just be a bit more direct. Just run, those 2 or 3 phases, just run a bit straighter, a bit tighter, suck in the Southern Kings defence, and then maybe look to play with a little bit of width.
It's a big blow, isn't it?
Scrum half off, is it?
No, the hooker.
It's the hooker, and unfortunately it's Mike Williams who's gone off, and Tango
that'll be a big loss actually.
I think he's played really well, and that's not what they wanted to see. Former South African under-20 player, the 24-year-old on his Kings debut is off, so number 16.
Glasgow lose their line out, no one even jumped for the ball.
That allows
Kings, so accidental offside.
Yeah, just running through that on occasion was Andy Ancilla. But that's the kind of mistake. You've done well, you've won the line out, and then you just give the ball back to Glasgow.
It's a difficult one. It's because the line out's won, it's tapped back, it's a guddled ball, so I think it's from the back of the line out, isn't it? And just that lack of communication. Big Van Vuren's coming short to get the ball off Ancilla. But he's almost overrun him, and so they bump into one another. And so Glasgow, having messed up their line out, they now get a scrum in an excellent attacking position. Again, 20-25 metres in from that right hand touchline. Lee Jones right over on the right wing. Stuart Hogg behind the scrum. Got George Horn, Stuart Hogg, both such attacking threats, but they come left.
It goes from Horn, gathers, sends it out wide. Glasgow can get this out. Greg with a run, comes inside. Oh, it was a high challenge on him. He was dipping down, but it was the 2 centres that came across. Klassen was one of them. Now the ball comes out. Glasgow trying to find a way through. 5 metres from the line. They're still playing the advantage. Glasgow dive over. Glasgow score on the corner. Nicky Manowaller on his return. First start again for Glasgow. Dives over the top, secures the try, and Glasgow take the lead. The referee will come back and have a look at the high tackle incident. The Glasgow lead by 10 points to 6.
There's almost an argument, did the high tackle deny the try because he steps in off his left? It's not actually that high, to be fair. I think the Sixers will be unlucky if he gets any sanction. But young Nico just desperate to get involved in the game, isn't he? just he's in that ruck. There he is. Give me the ball, and he just dives over and scores. Great wee character.
Just simple, effective play. Again, George Horn at the back of the scrum. He just has one step to attack, which engages that Southern Kings defender. It means that normally you want that first defender to get out to Adam Hastings at first receiver. He can't do that. The Southern Kings have to jam in. Greg recognises that, hits that line really straight, so effective. Simple phases, and they score.
The kick from the right side is beautifully through. Glasgow lead by 12 points to 6. Adam Hastings successful with the conversion. And Adam Hastings, who didn't last the first half on his debut against Connacht, settling more into this game now. And the Kings will have to regroup. They find themselves down by 6 points.
Yeah, it's the old wee saying, isn't it? You always say to players, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. You know, mainly, obviously that's mainly for backs, to be fair.
Former prop forwards Peter Wright as the ball restart gathered by Glasgow. Pat MacArthur lays the ball back onto Hogg. Hogg gets it out to the far side onto Adam Hastings. Hastings steps inside, beats two, gets past Van Vuren, and he is off. He's up to the halfway line. He's got support in Horn. Horn looks across, gets it on Matawalu. Matawalu's got pace, but he's going to be taken down eventually. A little pass inside wasn't needed. It's given away. The kick is charged down. Johnny Gray gathers, plays it back onto Hastings. Hastings slips it away. 5 metres from the line. Glasgow driving forward again. The Kings trying to find a way to find the ball and get back on level, but they can't do so. Glasgow pick and go again. 5 metres from the line. On the left hand side, back to the right it goes through Johnny Gray. Gray driving in. Now Horn. Horn dips it out wide. 2 metres from the line. Glasgow trying to come in. Out it comes. Should be a try for Glasgow. And there's a try for Glasgow. Nick Gregg is the man who went through, celebrates his 2-year deal that he signed this week. Beautifully out it went, and Nick Gregg, the centre, came in and scored to the right of the post. It's been an electric 2 minutes for the Glasgow Warriors.
Yeah, and it's shown that little bit of invention from the kick-off, wasn't it? They took the kick-off. Johnny Gray took the pass, gave a deep pass behind Hogg to Hastings. Hastings, I'll tell you, showed a turn of pace that his father never maybe had. But Gray kept it alive. Nico Matawalu kept it alive. They lost possession. Southern Kings try to clear it, gets charged down, and then 3 or 4 rucks later, Nick Gregg over for a try. And I think I was thinking that Dave Rennie was going to give them a real shouting at half-time. I don't think it'll be quite as loud as it was going to be.
Conversion is a simple one from in front of the post, and all of a sudden Glasgow, who were 4 minutes ago trailing 6 points to 5, lead 19 points to 6. Here's Colin Gregor.
Yeah, just a great sidestep from Adam Hastings, deep in his own 22, a couple of soft Kings tackles, and George Horn, as we know, he's such a good support player. He's obviously played a lot of sevens as well. It's quite interesting, the Scotland Sevens boys are over in Stellenbosch at the Assopol Sevens this weekend, so Horn showing the sharpness there. It's good to see him again, just linking with Nick Gregg in that last phase. Gregg hitting that short line, seeing where the space is and crashing his way over the line.
Glasgow leading 19 points to 6. The restart taken by Glasgow. Adam Hastings on his own 22 again, shows a great burst of pace to get the ball out wide. And Glasgow in again, laid back. Now it comes across onto Johnny Gray. Pat MacArthur. MacArthur downed well on the 10-metre line inside their own half. Glasgow. Hastings plays the ball out. A little offload, Fagerson, and it was on the ground. It's been knocked forward, and it's going to be a scrum down. Apparently the search engines in South Africa on the internet have been overworked with the word guddle tonight. If that's not a word that's familiar for our South African audience, it's a juggling of the ball knocked forward. It's the great little Scottish word, the guddle.
Guddle, aye, they're good ones.
Stuart Hogg guddles there.
Indeed he did.
Yeah, just it's that skill set that always frustrates you. These guys are professionals. They get paid to be rugby players, and yet I know they're under pressure a little bit. But poor pass, knock on, try to pick the ball up off the ground, guddling around. It's not easy. It's
just the excitement for Glasgow. They've scored 2 tries in quick succession. Adam Hastings makes another half break, the ball to Lee Jones. They get yards. That next phase, Pat MacArthur's well defended, and the momentum goes. That's where Glasgow need to realise that and just go up the middle with the next phase, rather than thinking, yes, we can still get to that width. and that's where the errors are forced.
3 minutes to half-time. Ball through the hands of Lou gets the ball out wide, the fullback, and up in support, little clip kick through. Glasgow try and collapse on it. It's not won by Glasgow. 5 metres from the line, and Silla has it. He's been driven back. That's good tackling from Glasgow, but Van Rooyen gets it in. De Wee tried to get there. He's being forced back. Graef then had hands on the ball. Out it comes. The Dwight gets it on. De Klerk would love to score against his former club. Stopped 4 metres short on the right-hand side. Glasgow up very quickly. Matawalu was out of position. Penix steps back inside, doesn't go into touch. That's good play by the winger. Ball still back on the King's side, and Ryan watches for it, but it's going to be offside against Glasgow. And very quickly the Kings tried to get the ball. Glasgow are not rolling off it very quickly. There's a bit of pushing going on. Grayford and Fagerson are squaring up to each other. The peacemakers step in. There's not many of them, and Klaassen's there, and the referee is going to call time off. But you could see Fagerson and Stefan Graef, who's a big lad. He wasn't standing back, that's for sure. 6'6", and Fagerson, well, he might only be 6'2", but he wasn't holding off there either.
Oh, sorry, Adamson's telling Harley to have a word with Fagerson. The number 8 pushed Fagerson first. Now, I understand he's got to have a word with Fagerson. You've got to have a word with the number 8 as well. You can see him. Yeah, to be fair, Fagerson started it. Sorry, to apologise that to the number 4.
Yeah, it's Graef.
But you go back to the play. De Klerk had a 2-man overlap. If he had just taken the ball and given a pass, they would have scored in the corner, no problem. But he got the white line fever, tried to barge over himself. And I think Nico Matawalu, was standing in the Southern Kings guy's pocket when he got the pass. He was that far offside.
He did look offside. More bad news for the Kings, as Martin Detroit is having to go off. The doctor is with him, so it might just be a patch-up job and they'll get him back on. But with 2 minutes to play, that's disappointing for them. And it's Oliver Zonnop who's going to come on.
A blood and an HIA possibly, a wee bit of blood, but he's certainly holding just about his ear.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's maybe a wee whack on it. So yeah, HIA in this day and age, got to get it right. After last week, Morgan Parra looked like he was unconscious, comes back on, but I believe is it European or World Rugby have cleared.
Yeah, they said
Claremont said that everything was done, but he certainly looked unconscious. And I thought the ruling was if you were unconscious, you didn't do an HIA, that was you were out.
You were out. I played alongside many guys who appeared unconscious during a game.
And they were running
not in a good way. Yeah, not in a good way.
Commentated on games where guys beside you have seen appeared unconscious. Or
the line out won by the Kings, 5 metres from the line, trying to get a score before half-time. Glasgow, though, have turned the ball over. Excellent play. Johnny Gray turns it behind. Kings just let the ball go. Now it's going to be taken into contact very quickly upstairs, and Graef has done really well. He's just being pulled out there. Harley goes in. Glasgow have to be careful, they aren't coming in off their feet there. Now Horn sets it across, and again Gray tries to roll the ball. Standing guard is Scott Cummings. Horn gets it in. Sander Fagerson, the human battering ram, makes another couple of metres. Glasgow looking just to play the clock at the moment. We'll get a penalty. Tackler not rolling away, and it's been taken by George Horn, and Horn swarms away. Horn looking for Matawalu. It comes out, he takes a touch, gets it with the second hand, and then can't hold on to it. Well, if anything sums up Nico Matawalu, it's that. The hope, the almost, and then it didn't quite work. And now they've gone out of play. They're continuing their little hits there. The substitute replacement hooker, Bill Kelly, was coming in. He wasn't happy, he couldn't get the ball back. You can't take your eyes off this, that's for sure.
Yeah, George Horn, great break. Isn't it a great pass, considering he's from a scrum half. I think what they're upset is just the tackle just on Matawalu. I don't think there's any problem with it. I think it's just a tackle. The guy's committed. The fact that it ends up in the hoardings doesn't help. But then I couldn't believe Adam Hastings running in. So he pushed
department coming on.
It's just bad. You know, you look at that and you think to yourself, that's like 17 players Glasgow have got on.
Well, normally it's only 16 if you think the refs are homer. It's Glasgow, and they put a driver on, but it's Van Rooyen who gets the ball away. Out it comes. Lucent gets the ball across, and here comes the nippy fullback Banda. Banda's got pace, comes back inside. Klaassen has it in the midfield. De Wee into contact, midway inside his own half. The 40 minutes have come and gone. The Kings are trying to keep this alive and find a way to get some points just before half-time. Bobby De Wee picks up Gallers, drives again, the man from Claresdorp. Drops it back onto The replacement Zono. Zono takes it into contact. The knock on. It is going to be half time, and the two teams will leave the field of play.